Sweet. How's it going, everybody? Nice. Like the hat?
On the 4-3 to Rome the other day. Through your eyes, what's the most important part of being synced up, the two of you on that sequence, to make sure that it connects the way it did?
Yeah, obviously, I think being synced up is the most important part. I knew it was man across the board, and Rome was. I felt the best matchup at that time, and Rome is made plays for me over and over again. And right in that moment, dude was pressed on him. Rome won fast. It was hand up, saw that, and at that point, when the DB's in trying to catch up mode, it's either going to be a completion or it's going to be a DPI. And so just make sure to give Rome a chance with the ball. And obviously, he went out there and made a great play.
What his skill set has earned your trust over the 6 months you've been working together?
Yeah, I think from all of the above, hanging out to playing video games with each other, to communicating and coming in at the same time and learning all this together, helping each other, throughout this time. And so being able to have all those little moments and things like that, I think when those big moments happen, you kind of have an idea and trust and belief that y'all are on the same page. And, right then and there, it showed up.
Caleb, the way you played against Green Bay, I'm sure you aim to play even better than that and produce even more than that. But
Yep.
After the 3 games before that, what did it do for you mentally to just go in and put in a solid game like that?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it did anything for me mentally. I think after the 3rd game, I realized that I can play, and I feel good playing. I see I've said multiple times that I regardless of the interceptions in the beginning of the season, that I felt like I was seeing the field well and things like that. And that still stands today. There's going to be rough times, rough patches over, the long, healthy career that I hopefully have. That's not going to change my mindset, and nor is it going to change it now. So being able to have a good game versus or a solid game, I would say, versus a team like that is obviously it goes into practice and the details and all of that, which is everybody talked about, Coach and Coach Flus and Thomas and all of them. And so I think being able to be consistent throughout the weeks of practice, film, and all of the above, I think it leads into a consistent path. And so I just have to stay on that path and keep going.
When you mentioned Thomas, how do you think he did last week with the game plan in terms of incorporating things that you're really comfortable with? And even maybe did he incorporate even some things that you really liked at USC into the passing game?
No, I mean, I think I've ran a bunch of concepts so far, whether it's high school even to college to now. And so I think it started in practice with the reps. I think it started with him stringing things together and doing a good job with that, and getting everybody into a rhythm, and not necessarily thinking of what's next or anything like that. We kind of had an idea of what's next, and from there you go out there, you play efficient football, and it gives you the best chance to win.
Caleb, knowing how
you seem to be more aggressive scrambling. How much did Thomas have to do with that? Was it something that maybe someone encouraged you to do, or was it just a situation like they were in man and there was more room, or how would you kind of?
No, Thomas didn't encourage me to run more. He just encouraged me to get the ball to my guys and be efficient in those ways, and then from there do that well. And then if they want to play a certain defense or play me a certain way and leave lanes open, I do have legs and I can run. And so, take advantage of that to be able to help my team win and move on from there. That's the only goal of myself when I walk into a game, is find ways to be able to keep us on the field, find ways to be efficient, find ways to help this offense score and help this team win. And so if I have to run a little bit more, if I have to drop back and throw the ball, if I have to hand the ball off 40 times, it is what it is.
Caleb, a lot of people said going into the game and then even after the game, they simplified the offense for Caleb Williams. Did they simplify the offense, and do you take exception to hearing simplifying the offense?
I wouldn't say they simplified it. I we didn't reinvent the wheel for those 3 or 4 days that Thomas became the offense coordinator and play caller. We just I think the decisiveness. I think all of that came from our meetings and how we're going to do things. I think it came from being able to get play calls in faster and being able to get up there and not feel like you're rushed or not feel like you need to hurry up and get the ball snapped and things like that. I think all of these small things, details of routes, details of the blocking, details of the path of running backs and how we're going to do things. I think that led into all of what happened last week. Obviously, we didn't come out with the win, but how we played efficiently and physically. I think that leads into it. So no, they didn't simplify the offense. I think it's still the same. The Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays are tough practices because it's a bunch of new stuff, a bunch of difficult things, long play calls. We still have some. Like even today, we still have some 12-worders to 14-word play calls. So, no, nothing's been simplified, but you got to go out there and execute.
Caleb, with as frequently as Brian Flores blitzes, whether it's younger quarterbacks or really experienced guys, like how do you approach what to expect from that defense? Yeah,
I think obviously, he's gonna blitz you. He's the king of cover zero blitz and finding a bunch of different ways to do it, and then they'll switch it up and just fly 22 out from 2 yards away from me and fly them all the way back to the safety and things like that. So us being decisive, us having a plan for all of that, and then from there get the ball to your playmakers, run the ball well and efficiently, and from there. When they give you shots and give you explosive plays, you make those plays, and it affects the, I guess you can say, play calling for the defense. When you're able to hit explosive plays, or when you're able to get the ball out and be decisive, when they're sending all these different exotic blitzes and things like that, I think it affects the play caller on the other side, and you got to find other ways to attack.
Caleb, what facet of what you did? I'm sorry, what facet of what you did better last week do you think is most sustainable, that will work whether a team plays zone or man or blitzes or doesn't, or adjust to whatever you did, or whether it's the Packers or the Vikings?
Yeah, I think communication. I think the attitude, and I think us just going out there and being on the details for myself, and then for the whole team. I think those three things would be huge for us for this run that we're going to go on.
You've been so good at beating the blitz throughout your career, particularly as a rookie. Like, what do you identify as being the strength for you at seeing things pre-snap and being able to get past that?
Yeah, I think first it starts throughout the week, understanding where and when your hot routes are going to be there. For instance, there's going to be times where you may have to hold the ball and just stand in there. And then there's going to be times where, and meaning that you don't have any hot routes on some plays. And then there's going to be plays where you do have hot routes, or there's going to be, side adjust or any of these different things that happen. And you just have to know where they are, and you have to feel and see the blitz. And you're not always going to have an answer pre-snap, meaning you're not always going to be able to make an adjustment for protection. You're not always going to be able to do things like that. And then, like I said before, many different interviews, is that the defense, their job is to go out there and disguise and hold blitzes and do all these different things. So when you see it and feel it post snap, and you couldn't make an adjustment pre-snap, you got to know where the hots are. And I think I've done a solid job. I think I can do a lot better, especially this week, knowing that they're going to try and blitz me, and when they do bring those blitzes, being decisive, getting the ball in my hands, getting it to my playmakers, and then let them go break tackles, make plays, and run down the sidelines and things like that. So I think it's leaning on those guys, is first and foremost, and then just know where my hearts are.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you. The Bears.
Tremaine, what has been one of the biggest struggles you guys have seen? It seems like the run defense has really taken a dip from where it was last year. What do you attribute to that?
I think it's just, technique, fundamentals, understanding what we got to do and do it at a high level. And, just understanding how, we playing off one another, either whether it's up front, whether it's on the back end. But I think it's really just honing down on the fundamentals and making sure that we're taking care of our job.
How do you lose fundamentals? I mean, that's the whole point of it. It's grounded. Isn't that something that shouldn't really change from one year to the next with the same personnel?
Yeah, well, I mean,
It's so mystifying.
yeah, I think just as a, when you look at football as a whole, obviously year in, year out, you play a perfect game. So, I mean, that just goes back down to fundamentals. It's always something in a football game where, somebody may not, things happen. You know what I mean? Whether somebody may get out of gap, whether, somebody's not fitting this right, things happen. But I think that's what you practice for. That's what you plan to be perfect in those aspects. But, sometimes things don't go right. But I think that's, what we come in each and every day honing down to, making sure that we knowing what our job is, knowing what our responsibility is, and do it at a high level.
Tremaine, are you sensing that the team is able to turn the page from these losses, the couple of the devastating ones, and how is Matt Eberflus guiding you guys through that?
Yeah, well, we don't have a choice. The next game is going to be here before we know it. So it's really no choice. The message is to come in, put your workman hat on and get to work. Simple as that. It's not a lot of talking about it. It's about coming to work, knowing what we have to do, understanding where we are. You know what I mean? Obviously being transparent as far as that, but at the same time, understanding where we're trying to get to. You know what I mean? So we're not looking in the past. Everything is geared towards this week and coming out and winning this football game.
Tremaine, going back to the run game, it's rare that a team will drop in run defense but go up in points allowed, and you're much better against that. What does that mean to you? Because they always say it starts with the run game, but yet your run game isn't as good, but your defense overall is better.
Yeah, I mean, each year is different. You know what I mean? What we had success with last year, things we did last year, everything is different this year, just as far as what the NFL presents, the challenges of the NFL. It's going to be areas that we may have struggled with last year, we better with this year, or areas that we wasn't as good with last year, we better with this year. But I think just as a whole, understanding that we want to be the best in every category there is. So it's not just run, it's not just pass, it's as a total defense, you know what I mean? And, at the end of the day, winning is what we focus on, you know what I mean? I know we get honed into numbers and everything, but we want to win. So that's what our mindset is. So everything that we do today on the practice field is going to be geared towards winning this game on Sunday.
Sunday is going to be your 100th career game. I don't even know if you know this or not, but I believe you're going to be the youngest player to ever accomplish that in NFL history. What does that mean to you?
I tell you, it means a whole lot better once we get to win. That's definitely a good stat. I'm definitely going to be feeling good, but I think that it'll really sit in, when I'm celebrating in the locker room with my teammates. So, as good as that sounds, man, a W on the board, I feel a whole lot better, to be honest.
Does it feel like you guys kind of have to, I guess for lack of a better word, learn to win? Because it seems like the Packers game, it feels like you did everything perfect except one moment. And that one moment cost you the game. And it's been a few games like that since you've been here. You've been a part of a team that had to learn to win. Does it feel like you're kind of going through that process here?
Not necessarily. I think adversity builds character for sure. You learn a lot through, challenges and difficulties that you face. This is definitely a challenge, time that the team is going through. But at the same time, man, that's what builds us closer together. Nobody's throwing the towel in, man. You know what I mean? We have 7 more opportunities. That's all we need is an opportunity to go out there the next week and prove that we are who we say we are. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what the whole mindset is now. It's just let's talk about how good we could be. More is just about let's come show up on Sunday and let's win one game. It's not about looking in the past. It's not about looking at the next week. It's about focusing in on Sunday, doing what we have to do to come be victorious on this Sunday.
All set?
Appreciate you.